So this lesson is lesson 10.3, and it's on how to find the surface area of rectangular prisms. Now I want you to fill out the vocabulary startup, but before you start filling it out, I'm just going to explain these 4 things I already have written down, and then just pause the video, copy it, and then we'll move on to the next page. So before we talk about what surface area is, we want to know what the surface is. And the surface is the flat faces of a 3D figure. So think of it as the outside of a 3D shape. And you guys know area are the square units that cover a 3D surface. We found area of squares, of rectangles, of any flat surface. So surface area, if you put these together, is the area of the surface of a 3D figure. So we're basically measuring the surface that's on the outside of a 3-dimensional shape. And a good example is the amount of wrapping paper used to cover a box. That would measure the surface area of a box. Now, pause the video, copy this down in your book, and then just be ready to move on to the next page. Alright, so there are 2 main ways to calculate the surface area of a rectangular prism. I'm going to show you both ways here. I like them both the same, so you'll kind of choose what one works for you. So you'll see on this page, example 1 is to draw a net for the figure and find the area of all the faces and add them up. Some people like that better. The examples on the next page are going to be using a formula that seems scary, but it's actually pretty easy, and that formula is right here. So I have the numbers that are in your book covered up so you can see how those numbers came about. So let me show you in example 1 how to find the surface area of a rectangular prism. And this is one where they gave you a net with the measurements on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to find the area using these dimensions, length times width, of each of these squares. And I'll show you how easy this could be. So for this square here, it's 6 times 7, and that's 42. Now if that's 42, its congruent face on the opposite over here is also 42. They have them nicely color-coded as blue for you. Now the green ones, you have 8, and this side is 6. You got to find the length and the width, and 8 times 6 is 48. So if the top is 48 square meters, so is the bottom. And then we'll do the tan ones. Now tan, it's hard to see the measurements here, so I usually go to this outside one. It's 8 here, and going down is 7, because remember the 7 over here? So that means all of these lines here would be 7. So it's 8 by 7, which is 56. And if that one's 56, so is that one. Once you get the area of all 6 faces, you can add them up. And you can see where they did that here. And they got 292 square meters. And I know it's a 3-dimensional shape, but remember, surface area is still area, so it is still measured in square units. Now, I'm going to have you do problem A. What I want you to do is see if you can find the area of all of these faces and add all 6 of them up, and then see if you get the answer. Okay, try it, pause the video, when you're done, restart it. Go. Okay, so let's see how you did. First off, let me zoom in on the shape so you can see. I'm going to start with this blue face here, and I see it's 10 by 10, and 10 times 10 is 100. I always write the numbers inside so I don't have to find them elsewhere. Okay, then I'm going to go to the green one. This is 15 by 10, which is 150. The top is 150, so is the bottom. And then we'll do the yellow ones. This is 15 by 10. Remember, I'm stealing that 10 from over here, and that's 150 as well. Okay, if you got all those areas, then all you had to do is add them up. So if I add them up, I'm going to do a little mental math here. That's 300. These two are 300, so we're at 600, 700, 800. The surface area is 800 square inches. Okay, and you could label it SA equals, but as long as you have the unit, you're okay. Okay, next page. Now, I'm going to show you how to use this formula. And it looks like you're not going to like it, but it really isn't that bad. So the formula says, to find the surface area of a rectangular prism, you do 2 times length times width, plus 2 times length times, 2 times length times height, plus 2 times length times width, plus 2 times height times width. Now this seems intimidating, but here's the thing you need to know. It doesn't matter if you have length here, or width, or height. That won't matter. The main thing is the 3 dimensions you have to have multiplied 2 different ways each time, and I'll show you what I mean. So down here in example 2. Okay, I know they have it done for you, but I'm going to show you how to go through it here. So let me give myself some room. I'm going to start by writing the formula. So surface area is 2LW plus 2LH plus 2WH. Okay, doesn't matter if you have the letters in the right order or not. Now, as far as substituting, let me show you how this works and why it's not that bad. If I look at this net here, I've got 3 different dimensions. I've got the 4, I've got the 7, and I've got the 5. All that matters is that I multiply those 3 numbers 2 different ways each time. So watch here. I write 2 times, I'm going to start with 7 times 4. I don't care if it's length or width or whatever. Plus 2 times, now I'll do 7 and 5. Plus, then 2 times, now I just need to get the last combination, 5 times 4. Let me move that. Okay, you see how I kind of drew a circle there? I got the 4 and the 7 and 5, and then 5 and the 4. I do that because it helps me make sure I get the 3 different ways I can write those numbers. Now the only tricky part is you need to copy this in your calculator correctly. If you copy all of that in your calculator, you'll get your surface area. And I know they already have it done for me. So the surface area here, is 166 square feet. Okay, so now in example 3, rather than fill in these down here, who cares about those? That's a pain in the butt. We're going to do this one together. We'll do it off to the side in your workspace. So let's zoom in here. So the first thing, you're going to write the formula. You can copy it from your book. I sometimes do the LW, LH, WH in different orders. So I might say surface area is 2 times LW plus 2LH plus 2WH. So get your formula copied. If you have to pause it, pause it. Now, we're going to substitute. So we're going to start with 2 times length times width. So I'm going to start with these numbers, 6 times 7, plus 2 times 7 times 4.8. Uh-oh, there's a decimal, I didn't see that. All right, be careful with the dot. Okay, and plus 2 times, the last way to get them is 6 times 4.8. Okay, I know we say don't use the x, but I'd rather use the x here than get that decimal point mixed up with a with a time symbol there. So be careful that that's 4.8 and you don't do 4 times 8. All right. Now your last job is to see if you can type this in carefully. If it helps you to go back and put x's in, it's not a big deal for this one. All right, so type that in. See what you get. Okay, make sure you typed it in. So if you did it correctly, you should have surface area is 208.8 square centimeters. All right, now we're going to go down to have you guys try one. Now this one I want you to try using the formula. So I'll get it written down here. 2LH plus 2LW plus 2WH. All right, so once you get it copied, pause the video, put these numbers in the formula, and solve. When you have it and you think you have it, hit play and see if you're right. Go. All right, let's see how you did. So surface area is 2 times 3 times 4 plus 2 times 4 times 2 plus 2 times 3 times 2. Okay, so take a second and see if you had the numbers right. Remember, the order of them doesn't matter. All right, and last, all you have to do is type it in. But let me show you in case if you didn't have a calculator, what you would have to do. So I would solve all the multiplication first before I added. So if I do that, 2 times 3 is 6, times 4 is 24. 2 times 4 is 8, times 2 is 16. 2 times 3 is 6, times 2 is 12, and then I would add those up. So 24 plus 16 is 40, plus 12 is 52. So you should have 52 square meters, and Jack is scratching next to us, so you might have heard that. If you had that, good, you're doing right. All right, last page, I'm just going to show an example quickly. All right, looking at a real-world example with this lovely geode over here. Here's what it says. It says, a geode is being sent as a gift. It is packed in a box that measures 7 inches long, 3 inches wide, and 16 inches tall. What is the surface area of the box? Now, I actually like these better than the drawings because they give me my 3 dimensions, 7 by 3 by 16. So I put them in the formula. And then I have 2 times 7 times 16, which is these two. Then I have 2 times 7 times 3, which is these two. And 2 times 16 times 3, which is these two. As long as you get them all, you're going to be good. Now, they are solving them individually here. You don't have to do that because you could use a calculator. So just type it all in the calculator. You get 362 square inches. All right, that's it. So make sure, I'm sure you have to do 1 through 4 below. Do those on your own. I will be checking those. And if you have any questions, make sure you ask me. Thanks, guys.